What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with the rest of the playoffs. The Crusaders just suffered a heartbreaking defeat to the New England Patriots, who moved to 17-0. And in this episode, we're pretty much just going to be checking out the rest of the playoffs to see how things unfold. We did this last year. We're going to do it every single season. And the big question is, obviously, will the Patriots finish the season undefeated? Something only one other team has ever done in the history of the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. As you can see, the Seahawks and the Vikings are going to play for the NFC Championship. We obviously know the Patriots are in it for the AFC Championship, but we don't know that fourth team. Let's go check that out, as well as the rest of the stats and scores from the divisional round. So it's going to be the Ravens at the Patriots and the Vikings at the Seahawks. Very good matchups here potentially, so I'm excited to see how that unfolds. Obviously, we know the stats from this game. We'll go ahead and check them out again really fast, though. Tom Brady had a great game against us. He did not throw for a touchdown pass. I am incredibly impressed with our defense to prevent the Patriots and Tom Brady from throwing a touchdown pass. In fact, Derek Carr actually passed for more yards than Tom Brady. Obviously, Derek Carr had those 3 interceptions. But Brady also went 21 of 27, a very efficient game for him, as opposed to 24 of 47, man. Running the ball, Devin Golden had 99 yards, only 3.8 yards a carry. Shane Vereen held to 3.2 yards a carry. He did have 2 touchdowns, though. They both ran it 26 times in the game. Receiving, Aaron Dobson, 93 yards for the Patriots. Isaac Cosby had 6 catches, only 48 yards, though. Shakir Gayton had a huge game, 107 receiving yards. 42 yards after the catch on 5 catches, and unfortunately, he didn't get into the end zone, but he definitely made his impact known. Also had a big punt return for us. Devin Golden had 50 yards after the catch on, but only 45 yards receiving total. Now, granted, he also was doing a lot of screen passes. I think 4 of those catches were screen passes. One of them was just a regular play where he ran out, but those 4 screen passes worked decently well for us in the game. Denarius Moore, 5 catches, 55 yards. Again, no touchdown passes were thrown throughout the game. So, as we go down, check the rest of the stats there. Moving on to blocking pancakes, we'll check this out. Mankins with 2. I'm pretty sure that we saw Cosby had 2. It might not be showing up here, though. Defense, Brandon Spikes had a monster game, and he is a free agent now. We're definitely going to have to try to bring him back. But he is a former New England Patriot, so it's pretty cool to see him have such a big game against his former team. As we go across the list, LeJean Knight, I definitely need to get him more involved next year. He had a very underrated season for sacks. Brandon Spikes with 1, Nick Roach with 1, Vince Wilfork with 1, McBride with 1. Justin Tuck with 1, and Shelby Harris with 1. Interceptions for the Patriots. Again, McBride also had that sack. Denard and Ryan each with 1. Fumbles forced, if we can find that one. Fumbles forced, we know Brandon Spikes with 2 fumbles forced. Shelby Harris and C.O. Moore with the fumble recoveries there. Moving forward to kicking. Gostkowski, 2 of 2, long of 47. Charlie Landrum, 2 of 3, long of 45. He barely missed out on a field goal over 50 yards. It was a pretty long one. It was like 56 or something. Long for him anyway. Ryan Allen punting, Marquette King. Kick returns, Danny Amendola, 21 yards average. Shakir Gayton, only 17-yard average there. But punt return, he did have a long of 20, which was very nice. The other one was 8 yards, whereas Danny Amendola only had a 9 and a 1 yard punt return. So, yeah. Anyway, moving forward. No, downs play. That's an interesting one. Never actually checked that one out. Back up here. So the Vikings and the Eagles. The Vikings won 31-28 over the Eagles here. Teddy Bridgewater had 2 touchdown passes and 297 yards. So really starting to come into his own as a player, leading the Vikings to an NFC Championship game. Nick Foles for the Eagles, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions there, and 252 yards passing. LaShawn McCoy, shady 94 yards on only 13 carries, averaged 7.2 yards a carry. Very good game from him. I don't know why they wouldn't go with him more in that instance. Definitely doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. He was having a great game. You'd think he'd get a little more carries and maybe they would have won the game. But to each their own, I suppose. Maybe he had like one really long one, and the rest were only 17. I don't know. They should have gone with the more if you like. Adrian Peterson, 92 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. He did get a touchdown. Reggie Bush's backup also with the touchdown. And Darren Sproles a touchdown running the ball for the Eagles. Bridgewater did have a fumble in the game too. Receiving, Greg Jennings leading the way for the Eagles here. 76 yards on 10 catches. Zach Ertz, 8 catches, 43 yards. Randall Cobb now with the Eagles. Huge weapon for them. Bringing him and Greg Jennings over, you can tell they made it as far as they did, or why they made it as far as they did. But again, no touchdowns there. Let's just go ahead and check out the touchdown category. And Riley Cooper, Santonio Holmes, and Lance Kendricks getting the 3 touchdowns on the game. Moving forward to defense, Kendricks leading the way in tackles, sacks. We have Trent Cole, Fletcher Cox, and Connor Barwin with the 3 sacks. Interceptions, Xavier Rhodes and Derek Cox with the 2 interceptions. We know there was 1 fumble. I don't know if it was recovered or not. Let's go ahead and check that out. Alan Branch forced the fumble on Teddy Bridgewater, and they did not recover it. So go ahead and check out kicking very quickly here. Blair Walsh 1-1, and Scobie missed his kick. His 1 kick. Wow, that could have tied the ball game up, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And Randall Cobb, there you have it, at kick return for a touchdown, 96 yards. Again, a huge weapon for the Eagles to work with. He had a punt return for a touchdown too. Are you kidding me? 69 yards, giggity. Wow, a kick return and a punt return for a touchdown there. Let's go ahead and check out that box score. That's pretty interesting. Oh, wait. It's not going to show me the actual touchdowns or anything like that. But anyway, very big game for Randall Cobb. Had it not been for that missed field goal, they actually would have tied the game and gone into overtime. But again, the Vikings probably dominating that game a lot. If 2 special team touchdowns still doesn't win them the game, that'll usually flip it one way or another. 34-27, the Ravens beat the Texans here. Checking out the stats, we have Joe Flacco, 347 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Christian Ponder, who has had a great season here for the Texans, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Running the ball, Arian Foster, 60 yards on 17 carries. He had a touchdown. He also had a fumble, though. Ray Rice, 13 carries for 32 yards, only 2.5 yards a carry, though. And then Darren McFadden, the former Raider, 4 carries for 20 yards, a pretty good game. Limited action, but 5 yards a carry for our former teammate there. Receiving, Andre Johnson, 115 yards on 9 catches. Jacoby Jones, 163 yards on 9 catches and 3 touchdowns for Jacoby Jones. A great game for him. Ray Rice also had 9 catches, only 30 yards. To Andre Hopkins, 99 yards on 8 catches. Steve Smith Sr., 64 yards on 7 catches. And Dennis Pitta, 33 yards on 6 catches, as well as Torrey Smith, 6 catches. So let's go ahead and check out the touchdowns. Jacoby Jones again with 3, Torrey Smith with 1. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name with 1. CJ, I'm going to attempt it. Bear with me. Take a deep breath if you freak out over mispronunciations. Fedor, I can't even do it. I don't know. I have no idea. I am stumped. I apologize. Jared Boykin with a a touchdown as well, receiving the ball. 5 catches, 40 yards for him. Moving along to defense, Matt Elam, 11 tackles, leading the way, and Swearinger with 10 sacks. We have 1 sack, J.J. Watt getting the only sack of the game. He had 2 tackles for a loss as well. No interceptions, as we saw earlier. There was a fumble. Check that out. William Gay forcing the fumble, and it was not recovered. So we see a lot of forced fumbles, but they're not always recovered, it seems like. Kicking, 2 of 2 for both kickers here. Long of 47 and 46 respectively. Punting, got stats there. No punt returns or no kick returns for a touchdown. A lot of different return men, and no punt returns for a touchdown there. Last but not least, we have the Saints and the Seahawks, 35-28. The Seahawks win by 7 points here, so it was a pretty close game. Drew Brees, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but 386 yards. Russell Wilson, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Running the ball, Marshawn Lynch, 24 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bradshaw for the Saints, 14 carries, 32 yards. Really not all that much from him. He did have 2 touchdowns, but he also fumbled the ball. Robert Turbin also had a touchdown, as well as Derek Coleman for the Seahawks. Receiving, Brandon Cooks, 9 catches, 149 yards for him, 2 touchdowns. Really starting to come into his own as a player. James Jones, 9 catches, 110 yards, no touchdowns. Sidney Rice, 7 catches, 81 yards. Marcus Colston, 5 catches, 54 yards. Let's check out any other touchdowns here. Bradford Hale, a rookie tight end from Arizona State, getting a 1-yard touchdown reception from Russell Wilson there. So big play for him. Rookie making it happen in the playoffs. You always love to see that. Bobby Wagner leading the way in tackles. Sacks, we have 1 sack. Bruce Irvin. Interceptions, we know there are a few here. Bird with 1, Richard Sherman with 1, Earl Thomas III with 1, as well as Jeremy Lane with 1. Fumbles forced. Get our way over here. Bobby Wagner forcing the fumble, and again, no fumble recoveries. In terms of kicking, we have no field goals in the game. There's your punting stats, kick returns. Nothing stands out a whole lot here. No touchdowns or anything like that. So that is it for the divisional round. Now, we have our conference championship games. Let's go ahead and simulate, and then we'll check those out. Where are we at? We can just do it from this screen, I suppose, and kind of see how all these games turn out. Hopefully, I got to go for the Vikings, I think, in this situation. I think I got to go for the Vikings. You know, obviously, as a 49er fan, I don't want to see the Seahawks win. I don't hate the Patriots or anything, but I want to be the next team to go undefeated through the regular season and the playoffs. I don't really want to see them do it. We'll see what happens, though. More than likely, we're going to get a Seahawk and Patriots Super Bowl. No, it's the Ravens and the Vikings. Wow, the Patriots lost 36-30, and the Vikings won 22-21. So, unbelievable turn of events here. And it is going to be interesting to see if the Vikings can win the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, win the Super Bowl, I should say. Anyway, moving on, our stats from the Patriots-Ravens game. Joe Flacco, 434 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tom Brady, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with 260 yards for the Patriots. Running the ball, Shane Vereen, 74 yards on 17 carries. Ray Rice, 54 yards on 19 carries. Bernard Pierce, 23 yards on 10 carries, 2 touchdowns. And then the rookie Easton for the Patriots had 16 yards on 6 carries and a touchdown. Receiving the ball, Earl Bennett, wow, 76 yards on 11 receptions. Look at how many receptions they have. 3 guys over 10. Ray Rice, 58 yards on 10 receptions. Steve Smith Sr. still getting work done. 149 yards on 10 catches. Rob Gronkowski, 38 yards on 8 catches. Aaron Dobson, 67 yards on 8 catches. And then Pitta, 74 yards on 8 catches. Let's look at the touchdowns here. Aaron Dobson with 2, and Jacoby Jones, who has 5 touchdown catches over the last 2 weeks. Unbelievable playoffs for him. He is really getting work done for the Ravens. Going through, Abdullah is going to lead the way in tackles with 12 sacks. No sacks on the game. Interceptions, Logan Ryan also had an interception against us. He grabbed another one. CJ Mosley and Ladarius Webb for the Ravens, each getting 1 as well. Fumbles forced, let's see what we got here. No fumbles forced, which means no fumbles recovered. Moving forward, I cannot believe the Patriots lost. Steven Gostkowski, 3 of 3, 36 yards is the long. Justin Tucker, 3 of 4, 33 yards is the long. The other one was actually blocked. Wow. What we can do is go see who blocked it. I don't think to check that because it doesn't happen a lot. Keenan Clayton with the block. Let's see if anybody got a defensive touchdown recovering. It didn't look like it. Oh, no. I went back way too far. We'll go back to that. We will go back to where we were, which means we need to go to punting. Yeah, punting. Here we go. Punting stats, kick return. Nothing standing out there, and no touchdowns there either. Moving forward, we have our NFC Championship game is the Vikings, 22 over the Seahawks, who had 21. Passing the ball, Teddy Bridgewater, 334 yards. He did have only 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Russell Wilson, only 146 yards with an interception as well. Marshawn Lynch leading the way, running the ball, 80 yards on 20 carries with a touchdown. Adrian Peterson, 72 yards on only 14 carries with a touchdown. Reggie Bush, 39 yards on 13 carries. He had a fumble. And then Percy Harvin had a 4-yard touchdown run down here, as well as Jerick McKinnon for the Vikings. Interesting. The Vikings use a lot of different running backs, but they seem to be getting it done for them. So, again, the 4 touchdowns here. Receiving the ball, 80 yards on 8 catches for Eddie Royale. Sorry. Somebody just had a heart attack, I'm pretty sure. Adrian Peterson, 73 yards on 6 catches. Patterson, 39 yards on 6 catches. Antonio Holmes, 69 yards giggity on 5 catches. Touchdowns, only 1 on the day. That is Jarius Wright making the play. Blocking, nothing stands out there. Earl Thomas III leading the way in tackles. Sacks, only 1 sack, and that is Brian Robeson. Interceptions, we have Bobby Wagner with 1, Cam Chancellor with 1, and Captain Munnerlyn. I love Captain Munnerlyn. Great player with 1 as well. And then fumbles forced. Jeremy Lane forced a fumble. Fumbles recovered. Never it seems. No fumbles recovered there. Kicking, 1 of 2 for Blair Walsh, long of 47. Punting, there are your stats. Kick returns, no touchdowns, anything like that. No touchdowns, punt returns either. So moving forward, we have our Pro Bowl week. We've already been over the Pro Bowl roster, so no need to look at that again. If you did miss it, it's after the Week 17, or it's the Week 17 news video, I believe, that all that is there. So we'll advance this week. Hopefully I can still check the stats from that game to kind of see how our players did. I believe we can, but I'm not positive. Let's go ahead and check it out. Schedule. See what we got here. And no, we're not going to be able to check the Pro Bowl stats. That's a bummer. I don't understand why you can't do that. I don't think you can play the Pro Bowl game either. Which, I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's nothing that I would really have interest in playing. But the fact that it's not even an option just does not make much sense to me at all. I don't understand that. So we're advancing to the offseason here. Obviously, we still have to find out who wins the Super Bowl. Last year, I believe it was the 49ers. So let's see if the other Harbaugh brother can win them back-to-back for him. If it's going to be the Ravens or the Vikings, go ahead, leave a comment. Who do you guys think won the Super Bowl? Obviously, we're about to go check it out, but if you want to go ahead and post your comment, I will wait a second. Re-sign players. Give a little brief glimpse of the offseason before we get there. So, everybody's interested. We need to bring Brandon Spikes back for sure. Justin Tuck would be nice to have back. I want to bring Penn back as well. Smith, I'm kind of on the fence about. We'll see. Jared Cook, you know, he did all right for us. He wasn't as great as I was hoping. I might be okay just moving Stevenson to that position. We'll think about that. I don't know yet. Usama Young, a great backup. I don't really feel like he's a huge priority. Parks didn't hardly play at all, but he's only 21. I kind of like the guy anyway. Isaac Cosby, have to bring Cosby back. Ellington, I don't know. I don't know about Ellington. Shakir Gayton, again, another guy that we're going to need to bring back. So a lot of pretty good players down there that we're going to need to re-sign. Again, we'll get into all that next episode, though. Right now, we are going to go find out who won the Super Bowl. So let's see who it is. See who was right, who was wrong. League schedule. And the Super Bowl champion. Nope, that didn't work. The Minnesota Vikings have won the Super Bowl over the Baltimore Ravens 27-19. Wow. Teddy Bridgewater getting it done. Joe Flacco, 269 yards with a touchdown, no interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater, 205 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Running the ball, Adrian Peterson. They finally just gave him the ball and let him go. Wow. The Vikings only had 3 running plays on the entire day. They didn't even have 10 yards rushing. Not the Vikings. I said the Vikings. I meant the Ravens. Wow, that's pretty crazy. 9 yards on 3 carries. Wow, okay. Adrian Peterson, 18 carries, 130 yards. What happened to Ray Rice? Did Ray Rice get hurt? He must have. That's weird. Anyway, 130 yards, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, 7.2 yards a carry for Adrian Peterson. Reggie Bush, 26 yards on 7 carries. Bridgewater. I can't believe it. I guess Ray Rice was hurt. Steve Smith, 105 yards, 8 catches for him. Patterson, 91 yards on 7 catches. Pitta, 52 yards on 7 catches. The touchdowns of the day, Steve Smith and Santonio Holmes. Defense, Rivers leading the way in tackles here. Sacks, we have 2, Brian Robinson and Jernigan for the Ravens there. Interceptions, no interceptions. Fumbles forced, let's see if we have anything over here. No fumbles. Oh wait, 1 fumble's forced. Courtney Upshaw, fumbles recovered. They never recover fumbles. I don't know what that is. That's weird. Kicking, 2 of 3 for Blair Walsh, 47-yard long. Justin Tucker, 2 of 3 as well, 46-yard long. Punting stats there, 5 punts for the Vikings. Wow. None for the Ravens. I don't understand. None for the Ravens, really? Huh. Kick returns, considering there was no turnovers. Alright, whatever. Kick returns, nothing stands out here. Punt returns. Passing. So how many pass attempts did he have? 48. I mean, I guess that's a lot, but if he's not turning the ball over, they're not punting the ball. I'm a little confused. Anyway, there you have it, guys. The Vikings have won, which they, look at that, week number 1, 39-38 over the Saints. The Vikings have won the Super Bowl. Teddy Bridgewater getting work done. And yeah, that is going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed this entire season, and I hope you are as excited about the offseason as I am. If you are, please hit that like button. It helps me out so much. It helps my channel grow, which hopefully will help me get to a point where I can make this a job. Instead, right now, I'm working a full-time job. But anyway, Vikings, unbelievable. Jared Allen got cut. Wow, that's somebody we can look into picking up. Maybe replacing Justin Tuck if we decide not to re-sign him. We'll get into all this in our off-season video, though. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for supporting me these last 2 seasons. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. We have had 2 videos in a row with over 200 likes. That is insane. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And I will see you for the off-season. Later, guys.